I don't know if you've been paying attention, but Africa just shocked the world, and it has massive implications for the United States and for Europe. Many of our Western leaders are freaking out right now. I kind of actually enjoy watching them. Victoria Nuland, who of course helped create the war in Ukraine, has gone from DEFCON 5 down to DEFCON 1 over Africa in the matter of weeks. It's an emergency, and she should be concerned because this stuff is about to hit the fan. The dominoes are starting to fall, and we'll get into the important details here in a second. But first, take a look at this map just published on Friday. These are all of the African nations that have now signed military agreements with Russia, and even a few of those in white are getting ready to partner with Russia as well. Damn, that's a lot of red. Now, we'll come back to that map in a moment, but first, this weekend we saw dramatic developments. Russian flags raised in the air throughout the continent. First to Niger, the country that started it all. Russian flags everywhere, and according to France 24 news service, the government of Niger has now signed a contract with the Russian Wagner Group for security. And they need it because the coup in Niger has entered the point of no return right now. The people rising up against France, against the United States' influence in that country. The Western powers that have controlled Niger for decades are now being pushed out. And this weekend, the military leaders now say that Niger will no longer be a European colony. And they've demanded that all French soldiers get out now, get out of here, or face the consequences. Why does the United States even have troops in this country in the first place? Well, that's a great question. So get out of here, France, and get out of here, United States. You don't belong here. Over the past few days, the United States started dropping massive amounts of military cargo right near the Niger border with its warplanes. They are getting ready to attack Niger to try to stop it all. But that threat is not stopping the people of Niger. Tens of thousands of people marching in that country this weekend, celebrating their independence and shouting no to foreign military bases, no to poverty, no to the West stealing their uranium, their phosphate, and other minerals. Get out of here now. All of the ambassadors' offices to the Niger Republic Mission Service, the United States, France, Nigeria, and Togo have all been terminated. All of their offices are now officially shut down by the Niger government. The head of the military just made this announcement. So other African nations are now showing their support for Niger and starting to say the very same thing. Get out of our country. This weekend, the people in Senegal rising up against Western colonial governments controlling their country. The CIA, MI6, and other Western intelligence services are doing whatever they can right now, spinning their wheels, trying to hold on to power in these countries with their puppet governments. The people in West Africa are fiercely anti-American imperialism, so it wasn't a surprise then to see the country of Guinea announce they are supporting Niger as well.
La République de Guinée réaffirme par ce communiqué sa vision panafricaniste en apportant sa solidarité à la population nigérienne.
This is massive, and Colonel Douglas McGregor says the people who've had their minerals stolen for years are saying enough is enough. Get out of my country.
The Africans are fed up with it. And so this is an example in Niger of where a supposedly U.S.-backed government with a U.S.-trained military suddenly turned around and said, I think all of you white people need to get out of here. We've had it with you. Go away. Go. Europeans leave.
Again, we'll get around to the uranium and gold part of this story in a moment, which is arguably the most important part of this story. But first, a story that no one's talking about is the massive pipeline that is nearly set to go online. Now, it starts in Nigeria. It flows through Niger on its way up into Europe. Chevron and the United States have already invested $13 billion into this pipeline. And guess what, guys? After the Nord Stream pipeline destruction, Chevron stepped up production to get this up and running. Hey, we'll speed this up. We'll fast track this. And now the people of Niger are saying, wait a second, why are we going to allow a pipeline to flow right through our country so Europe can have natural gas? You are doing nothing for us. You continue to steal from us. Sorry, no more pipeline. This is why Europe is terrified this morning. The United States already blew up the Nord Stream pipeline, put their own pipeline into action in Africa. It's a smart business move, right? We'll just blow up the competition. Imagine Walmart doing that to Target stores. Yeah, we're just going to blow up those stores. Now you got to shop at Walmart. And now Niger is saying, hey, sorry, you're not going to use our country to transport your natural gas into Europe. Get out of here. So Europe is facing catastrophe with no Nord Stream pipeline coming from Russia any longer. And now the threat of this pipeline being shut down through Africa.
If you're a regular viewer of this channel, I'm sure you must have known my take on having Russia mercenary or Russia paramilitary forces on the African soil. And for those of you who do not know, let me explain again. I believe that us trying to kick out the French just so we could welcome in the Russians is a terrible, terrible idea. And I have mentioned this like a lot on this show. My worry is that, like the French are refusing to leave Niger, like the French have taken most of their former colonies under hostage, like the French have had as powerful grip on their former colonies, this might happen with those countries that are now signing all these military deals with Russia. Africa is a land that is filled with honey, right? And anyone who came to Africa doesn't want to leave. And even if we force them to go, they don't want to go. AKA the French ambassador to Niger. They don't want to go. So here's my worry. What if Russia now comes in, all in the name of helping us fight jihadis? And after 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, they refuse to go. What are we going to do? I have always felt like this whole idea of inviting the Russia Wagner group or having deals with Russia is not particularly a good thing, because it's just like we are exchanging Peter for Paul. And most of you guys who knows about this know that it's not a good idea. Having Russia mercenaries or Russia paramilitary in Africa is a terrible, terrible idea. And I understand that we are facing a lot of security challenge in Africa. Burkina Faso is undergoing or is going through a lot of difficulties when it comes to security. Same as Mali, same as Niger. And we do not have the capacity to fight these jihadist groups in West Africa. That is true. But inviting Russia won't be a solution to the problem. They might just fight now to push out the jihadists. But what if they have a grip on Africa? Would they ever leave? What if we start disagreeing with them and we want them to go? Will they go? What if their military is now situated in a very powerful position in Africa? Can we even ask them to leave by then? These are just some of my worries about having Russia in Africa. And coming back to the West, the Americans and their cousin, the Europeans, they really do not have our interests at heart, like I have mentioned in previous videos. They really do not. So it's left for us, the Africans, to fight this ourselves. The AU has to take an active role in Africa. The AU must set up a force that will help to fight these jihadist groups in Africa. All 54 or 55 members of Africa need to come together to figure out a solution to the problems in Africa. Because remember, the foreigners, the Westerners, or people from the East, the Chinese, won't do anything that won't be to their own benefit. Won't do anything as a matter of being selfless. They would not. Whatever they are doing, be it Russia, be it China, be it America, be it the West, aka France, Britain, Germany, they are all doing it because it will benefit them more than it will benefit us. That's just the reason they are doing it. France in Africa saying they are fighting jihadist groups. It's not really France in Africa just because France want to be in Africa. No, that's not it. France is there because France has their interest to protect, which is Africa's natural resources. That is just what they care about. That is it. Nothing more, nothing less. Just that. Africa's resources. That's just it. So, please, fellow Africans, fellow leaders of Africa, you guys have got to step up. You guys have got to stand up. We cannot keep on being beggars. If I remember correctly, it was Cyril Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa, who said that Africa do not want to be a beggar, that Africa wants what she deserves, and Africa wants to be an equal partner. So if you guys are saying that you guys want to be an equal partner and you guys want the respect that you guys deserve, you guys must be able to shoulder the responsibilities that come with such a respect. You cannot ask for one and not the other. You cannot do that. If you want respect, you got to shoulder responsibilities. You cannot say, I want respect, but then again, I don't want to shoulder any responsibility. It doesn't work that way. Africa must learn to figure out a solution to Africa's problem. And the insurgencies we have in Africa, the jihadist movement we have in Africa, must be resolved by Africans themselves. We have got to do it. Our leaders have got to start thinking out of the box. Our leaders have got to start figuring out a way to fight these jihadist groups in Africa without bringing in the Russians or the French or the Americans. But you guys out there, do you really think that it's a wise idea for us to be trying to push out the French, whom we all can agree has been a disastrous thing to Africa, and at the same time welcoming in the Russians? Is that really, really a good idea? And I do not take lightly the security issues we are facing. I know about all that. But my point is, isn't it high time that we, the Africans, start figuring out a solution to these problems by ourselves? Please, leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below, because like always, we love hearing what you have to say. And also, do not forget to like this video, share this video, follow our Facebook page, and most importantly, subscribe to this channel, because little bit of good way, like the one you're doing just now, help us a lot, and we shall forever be grateful to you. So thank you very much for doing just that. And like always, see you in the next one.